Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, readers of all persuasions. It is I, Gayla, and welcome back to Book Uncorked and Caffeinated. And tonight we are going to go over my November reads. I actually read 10 books this month, which I was really shocked by. I had a lot going on, but I was able to complete 10 books. But realistically, I completed them because all 10 books were audiobooks. So I'm going to be looking in my books, my little trusty YouTube journal, so to speak, and I'm going to tell you which books I read, and then I'll have them on the screen because they were all audiobooks. So book number one, well, let me go back a little bit. So all of these books are kind of like Halloween, Thanksgiving, leading to Christmas books. So it's a fall mashup. You have a little bit of everything. You have some fall reads, some Halloween reads, some Thanksgiving reads, some Christmas reads. It's all over the place. Is the books I was reading. I'm a movie reader, so let's fly with it. So the first book is called Boo Thing by Ritzy Adams. And she does a lot of holiday stuff because I read one of her books last year. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But this year she had Boo Thing, which is around Halloween. So the FMC birthday is Halloween. She wanted to take this Halloween trip to this place where it was all themed out Halloween, but because that's her birthday, she was happy about it. Her best friend couldn't go with her, but her best friend replaced was replaced by the best friend's brother. And so the FMC grew up with the best friend brother. Essentially, he was her brother, right? But they is not real brother and sister. So during this little Halloween getaway, they explored other options than being siblings, if you know what I mean. It was a good time, a good read, very spicy. The next book I read was The Best Kept Secret. This was book 3 in the Reverend Curtis Black story by Kimberla Lawson Robbie. So I'm continuing with that series. This was one of the books that was like produced like when I was in high school, and so I've never read the entire series. It started with Casting the First Stone, so now I'm on the third book. This is about Reverend Custis Black on his third wife. He had to pastor a new church because all the things he went through. But now Pastor Black is getting a taste of his own medicine because his new wife is a little younger than he is, and she's doing her own thing as he used to do his own thing with her. Thus, her becoming the third wife, if you get what I mean. Book number 3 was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So I've been kind of a Frida McFadden stan. And so The Housemaid was one of the books on my 25 for 25. And that video will be up soon. But yes, The Housemaid is going to be turned into a movie or a series or something. So I said I need to get on it. It's like 4 books in the series. There's a little novella in there also that no one really talks about. So I'm going to talk about that when I get to it. But if you know Frida, it's quick, fast, and dirty. But this one was not as quick, fast, and dirty as I expected. It took a little longer for me to get into. But at the FMC, I think it was like, if you think about it, it was kind of 2 FMCs because they were playing off of one another. But one of the FMCs, she was the married woman. The other one was the housemaid. And then the housemaid became the wife to the husband because the married woman left. But this wasn't what it was all cracked up to be. Sometimes you'd rather just be the housemaid because you don't know anything else that's going on. But it was a little spooky. I can see that being a really good movie. The 4th book was Somebody's Husband by Robbie Renee. So she did Somebody's Wife. This was not a follow-up because she has Somebody's Wife and another one. I'll have it up on the screen. She did those 2, so I wanted to read this because it seemed like it should go in succession, even though it really didn't. But it was the MMC actually lost his wife, moved back to his hometown, and winds up meeting a lady that worked at his daughter's university, and they began their rendezvous, their little swirl. So it was a good story. It was a good love story. It was sad at some points, but they kind of got it together. I like this book because this was like about middle-aged love and finding love again when you didn't think you were gonna find love. So I like that part about it. Books 5, 6, and 7 was in the Sweet Heat series by Christina C. Jones. So it was Hint of Spice, I'll have it on the screen, Dash of Heat, and Touch of Sugar. So Hint of Spice was about a young lady who moved her child and her her child and her mother across the country because she just needed a new life. She had been going through a lot of things, so she needed a fresh start, and she met someone there, and so she started to engage, and she was able to find someone that loved her child and her simultaneously and gave them the world. It was a really good book, a little spicy, but hey, that's what we do with Christina C. Jones. We get the spice. Then that was follow up with A Dash of Heat. That was the MMC. The FMC in this book was the MMC sister, and she had been going through a lot in her growing pains, and she was like 21, 22, you know, going through the ups and downs and ebbs and flow of love, and wanting to find love and finding the wrong love and all of those things. So that was cute. And then that was followed up by Touch of Sugar. And the FMC in this book was like the best friend to the last FMC from the first book. So it was kind of like a trilogy, and it showed all the stories of the characters in the book. And just, it was basically how everyone dealt with finding love, the ebbs and flows of it, finding love, sustaining love, and believing in love, and knowing that you can be loved and loving someone else. It was really, really cool. The 8th book, Love in Winter Wonderland by Abiola Bello. So this was a Christmas book from last year, a seasonal book that I didn't get to, that I said I was going to get to in one of my earlier videos. So I got through that. But I listened to it because I'm trying to get through all of my seasonal reads, because I know once it gets to January, I'm not going to want to read it. So in this book, which is actually a YA, I didn't know that going in, was about a young man and his family trying to save their bookshop. And there was a young lady in there that worked at the bookshop. They went to the university. She started working for the family. He had a girlfriend that went to the left, and then she came into the picture and trying to find love again, young love, ebbs and flows, and all the things. So yeah, this month was really about love on my list. Not intentional, but that's where all these books came from. The evolution of love and sustaining that. Then the next book was not necessarily about love, but The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So this was the first book that I read by Riley Sager, and it was really, really good. It was about a family that kind of had to endure a lot of trauma, and the FMC in this book had her own trauma, and she and the family kind of merged, and there was some secrets, and she started to uncover those secrets. So if you read this book, you know that there was some trauma, about some childhood trauma. It talks about suicide. It talks about suicide, murder as well. It's a lot of trauma and a lot of triggers. So read the triggers about the book first. But it actually was a really good book. It was like a good book, and the story unfolded. And I really did. I think it's a mystery, and I really didn't know where it was going. Like, I really did not know kind of who done it. And then the last book, Only for the Holiday, also by Abiola Bello, was another young adult book about love and finding love. And Only for the Holiday really talks about the evolution of young love also. So all of these books this month was about love. I don't know what that means. I always say I'm on a love journey, so maybe it was in my spirit to read these books. But I read 10 books in the month of November. Whether I read 10, 5, 1, something, I read it. But I do say that I have a goal of reading 100 books this year. And so with this last book, I made it to 91. So I have 9 more books to read. It is November 29th. So essentially I have about 31 days to read 9 books, which I think I would do. I normally read that many books, and I've been reading a lot of novellas that get me over the hump also, which I did last year. Last year I read 111 books. I did not make that goal or go higher than that this year because I wanted to leisurely read. I didn't want to be chasing something. And to be totally honest, my goal initially was not 100 books. It was only 25 books. And every time I kept going higher, I kept lifting it. So it went from 25 to 30 to 50 to 75. I went to 100. I came back down to 85. And so now I'm back at 100. So I think I will read 100 books. But it started out being 25. And so now I'm at 91. And we'll see at the end of the year. I don't believe I'm going to make a TBR goal or a reach goal or a number goal for next year. I just simply want to read the books that are on my shelves. And I have other books, other places. And so I want to get to those books without feeling I have to be rushed. And I want to read what I want to read. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So do all of the things. Like, comment, subscribe. In the comments, drop a book stack. Also drop if you read any of these books. Are you an audio book reader or a physical book reader or both? Whenever you're reading, you're reading. That's all I say. Until next video. Deuces. Bye.